Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Smashified. Today I am joined by Chris.
Hey guys!
And today we have another special guest for Mother Month. He is a Let's Player, vlogger, filmmaker, a very, very big Mother fan, prominent member of Starman.net, which is a very well-known Mother community, Stephen Georg. How's it going, Stephen?
It's going pretty good. Nice to be here.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for joining us for this one. So if you're seeing the screen right now, you're obviously seeing the very beginnings of Kumatora from Mother 3, which is a character that's been very highly requested all the way back from the start of this series. So I'm really glad to be doing it now because this is one of my favorite characters, just from a design standpoint at the very least. So I'm really excited to do this. So Stephen, do you want to talk a little bit about how you got into the series of Mother?
Sure. I am, I guess, an old bee when it comes to Earthbound. I first played Earthbound because it was on the shelf at Blockbuster back in 1995.
Whoa.
And I was like, I don't know what this giant box is, but it is awesome, and I have to rent it, and I have to play it. So I rented it several times, and I loved it, and then I ended up buying it, and instantly, it was my favorite game. It was just such a very unique experience to be able to walk around, you know, like a modern world and explore all of these different things. And I guess to a kid, like, that was just the best thing ever. But it was my favorite game then, and it actually just stayed my favorite game for, you know, the better part of 20 years now.
Wow. Man, that's a throwback. I didn't think, like, you don't think about the Mother series as something that you physically ever encounter in life because it's so, like, tied to Japan and there's so much exclusivity to that. So
yeah.
Thinking about a box being on a shelf is just kind of weird to me.
Yeah, my first exposure to the game was the box. And back then at, you know, Blockbuster, you could pick up the boxes and physically look at them and stuff, and there's just all this information on the back. There's, like, picture of, like, Dalam and all this stuff, and it was just, you know, so exciting for a kid. And it's still exciting for an adult. I mean, people are still getting into the series and enjoying it.
Hopefully more now than ever, you know, it being
yeah.
the 10-year anniversary of Mother 3 and all. Hopefully more people are looking into it. I mean, it's in the virtual console for Japan, which is nice for those in Japan who want to enjoy it there.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's such an incredible series. I mean, I'm a huge Earthbound nut, but the entire Mother series is phenomenal, and I feel like most people that play one of the games eventually move into some of the other games in the series as well, just because the experience that they have is so strong.
Yeah, definitely.
Would you ever wish that they would continue the series?
I do. I know it's not happening, but I do. I think it's just because, I mean, at least for myself, I'm so emotionally attached to the game. There's been so many very important events in my life that are tied to Earthbound. We were talking a little bit before we started. I actually met my wife through Earthbound. Some of my closest friends I met through Earthbound. My college roommate, my best friend, I met through Earthbound. I have such an emotional attachment to the series, and I would love if Itoi made a fourth game. I understand it's not going to happen, but still, if it happened, I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely cool to see the community really rally around it and start to make their own games as well. It's kind of cool. Like, Undertale was obviously hugely influenced by the series. Mother 4 is happening. So it's such a great community that it's so impressive to me how the community thrives despite the series not living on through subsequent games. It's just impressive to me.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess that's sort of a testament to just how good the games are themselves. You know, these games, there's 3 of them, but each one, even if you just played one, I'm sure if you have, it sticks out to you and you remember it for a while. You know, that's why we're doing this little Mother Month celebrations, because this series is kind of in a way unprecedented in the way it's affected its fan base. You know, you hear about Earthbound fans all the time because they're just so into the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
I forget. I think it was Nintendo once that said that that Earthbound fans were the most hardcore video game fans on the planet, and I believe it. There's so many times, like over on Starman.net, which is a big Earthbound site, there's so many times that they have rallied together over the years to do something or say something and get the whole community involved. They've had petitions where they've had tens of thousands of signatures. We've done mail-ins where like we would mail Nintendo. We've done call-ins where we would call Nintendo. Like we've done all these things over the years to get attention. Eventually culminated into the creation of like this 300-page art book that got mailed to Nintendo of America, Nintendo of Japan, every major gaming outlet, all this stuff. Like over the years, Earthbound fans have proven time and time again that they are willing to go to any length to get the games released here. It was so fun to grow up in that community, like before Mother 3 even existed, and everyone's talking about like, oh man, Earthbound 64, are we going to learn more? Is it going to be uncovered because it had been canceled? And then finally to see like at the end of the Mother 1+2 commercial that, oh yeah, Mother 3's coming. It was just a stupendous time.
Yeah. I'm always curious to think about, like, obviously Itoi has expressed multiple times that he doesn't have any plans to continue the series, but sometimes I think about it like, what if it was like Star Wars, where somebody else decided to carry the torch decades later? Like, do you think that's something that would be positive, or do you think that wouldn't be the same, like capture the same spirit?
It's kind of happening with Mother 4.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't want to put Mother 4 down in any way whatsoever because they are doing an incredible job. But I think it's a little different just because Itoi is such a unique person. Like with the Star Wars franchise, we've been able to see, we've taken it from one creator to another creator fairly successfully, and it's worked. With Itoi, he's bizarre. Like that's the best word I can use to describe him. And he has such a vivid imagination, and it's very unique, and the games are very uniquely his. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with people carrying the torch, so to speak, with their own games. I don't think it will ever be exactly the same. Although I do think that, when people are huge Mother series fans, that they get the humor, they get the stylized stuff, they understand all that stuff, and they can create their own thing. That said, it will never be quite the same as playing something made by Shigesato Itoi himself.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree with you more. We were actually having this discussion a lot lately about how art is so informed by the artist. You can't repeat Shigesato. Wow, I just started Itoi's art because it's so specific to who he is, and so if you get somebody else to do it, even if they're close or somewhat similar, it's not going to be a one-for-one continuation. It's going to be that artist themselves. And
over the years, I've known that he was weird, that he had these bizarre interests and things like that. But recently, we were able to go to Japan. Probably just a month or so ago, we were in Tokyo, and we had the very rare opportunity to go to Hobonichi, which is the it's kind of hard to explain. It's the business of Itoi. It's not like a studio or anything. Once I start talking about it, you'll understand how weird it is and how weird he is.
I've heard.
But we got to tour Hobonichi, meet the employees. We actually got to meet Itoi himself, which was really cool. But Hobonichi, like, it's basically whatever the heck Itoi wants to do. Like, people think of him as a game designer here in the States. But in Japan, it's not like that. In Japan, he was a copywriter forever, and he's done all these other interesting things. He was an actor, a voice actor. Like he was a voice actor for My Neighbor Totoro. Yeah, he was the dad, I believe.
Cool.
He's done all these amazing things. He's been a television personality. Like he hosted a television show for a long time. So in Japan, if someone sees Itoi, they know he's famous, but they don't think of him as being famous for Mother. Whereas in the States, like, we know him for, Earthbound specifically.
Right.
But
I don't think we have an equivalent to that in the United States either, because you never hear about someone who's so into everything.
Yeah, he's like so good at it. A jack of all trades celebrity, basically.
Yeah, it really, like, that's the impression that I get. And his business reflects that. He's now to the point where he's actually pretty old. I think he's like 68. And his business, Hobonichi, is like, whatever I want to do, I'll do it. They sell techos, which are kind of like day planners. That's kind of their primary thing. They also sell popcorn, jelly, just because Itoi made jelly, and he's like, I really like apricot jam, so we're going to sell that. They sell T-shirts. They are also a publishing company. So, like, people in Japan that want to get their books published go through Hobonichi. It's so weird. Like, they're working on so many different things, and all throughout the offices, you'll see, like, Mr. Saturns everywhere. It's so bizarre.
Well, they have a right to be proud of Earthbound. It's a bizarre part of their business, but it's definitely there.
Yeah. It's interesting. And what I believe that Hobonichi itself doesn't have a whole lot of connection to, like, the game creation process. I think that all came after. But obviously, the people that work under Itoi, they know what Earthbound is. You know, they know the Mother series. Whenever we went, we were able to kind of talk to them a little about it, and it was interesting because, you know, they're working on all these other things, but they can also be, you know, very appreciative of, you know, a Geiga shirt that one of us had on, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Man, so when it comes to Mother 3, then, what are your specific thoughts on this specific game? How do you feel about it? Maybe where do you rank it in your favorites of the three? I guess.
Earthbound obviously will always hold a special place in my heart just because of you know, my history with it. But Mother 3, it's hard for me to admit this, but I feel like objectively Mother 3 is probably a better game. It's a different game. And I think the biggest thing that separates it from Earthbound is the chapter system. Being able to play through Earthbound and keep the party the same the entire time versus, you know, mechanic-wise in Mother 3 where you're constantly changing party members, it's very different. But I think objectively Mother 3 just tells a better story.
Yeah, I think that seems to be a common thread, is that mechanically the game is probably better just because it's another iteration of the same sort of gameplay mechanics that they have, and hopefully when you make a sequel to a game you improve on the mechanics, but there's such a very different feeling that you get from the stories of, like, Mother 1 and 2 and then Mother 3, so I think we definitely, from the people that we've had on, we definitely get that feeling from people. Yeah, it's very interesting to me. Kumatora is an interesting character to me because, especially from an art standpoint, because, like,
you're interested in her art standpoint. I'm just saying in terms of storyline and character
she's a cool character too because she's like a mold breaker for sure.
Yeah.
She's so sassy. Definitely my favorite character in the entire game. And from an art standpoint, it's always interesting seeing how many different ways people interpret her character, because when, like we always say, when you just have a sprite to look at, you never know what it should look like. And so hopefully my interpretation here, because I did the character design for this one, is something that people can agree with. And I had to go all the way back to the Mother 2 artwork just to see how they treat, like, adult females in the style, because she's about the age where she's probably done growing, you know? So just trying to take that and assimilate that into a female character design for, like, all of the other precedent in Smash are these short, exactly the same two kid body shapes. So this had to be different. And so how do you interpret that? Like, do you keep them sort of the same height? Do you make her substantially taller? I don't know. But it's an interesting thing to think about.
It's sort of similar to the Wind Waker style where each character silhouette shape is so different from the next. You know, a young person is very small with a big head and big eyes, whereas an adult might just have a larger body and a smaller head, you know? And so just thinking about progression-wise, it just seemed like the right move to make her a little bit taller, a little bit more aged. And sitting her next to Lucas or Ness, it looks right, you know? So
yeah,
that's how we felt about
absolutely. And Kumatora is, she is, in my opinion, a highlight of Mother 3. Such a strong character.
Even from the first moment you meet her, right?
Oh, yeah.
She's about to chop her leg off.
Trapped in a bear trap, basically. He's like, no, I'm good. Don't worry about me.
Yeah, it's, I mean, Mother 3 just in general is fantastic. Just sitting here talking about it is making me think, man, I need to play this again.
Oh, nice.
Earthbound has always been my favorite game, but ever since Mother 3 came out, it's been my wife's favorite game, and I think the two of us should sit down and play through it again, because it is such a fantastic game.
Yeah, and E3 just passed, and we didn't hear anything about it, which is a huge bummer for me, because a lot of people were hopeful because of the anniversary. Yeah. But
are you hopeful of that, Steven?
I think it's going to happen, and honestly, like I've always been in a position where I was like, you know what, I feel like Nintendo's not going to do anything with the series ever. We got NES and Smash Brothers. Let's all be thankful. And then stuff started happening. We got Earthbound Beginnings, and I was like, if we can get Earthbound Beginnings, we can get Mother 3. You know, this thing can happen. This is not completely unrealistic.
Yeah.
So I think in time, I think we will see Mother 3 here.
Yeah, hopefully. But here's the finished character model here. So check that out, guys.
This is awesome.
Yeah. She looks great.
So, Steven, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had more time to talk, because you clearly have such a rich heritage that we could go on and on about, but maybe some other time, if we do another Mother character, we can have you back on. But
yeah.
Oh, sure. This is the last one for now, though. Mother Month is over. What are we going to do with ourselves?
I don't know, man. But thank you again, Steven. Check out some of his stuff. Go to stevengeorge.com. That's George without an E at the end. And check out his stuff. He's also got a vlog channel, so you can check that out. And also do anything else that you see on the Endslate here. So
Patreon.
Yeah, Patreon is always there. We do a lot of stuff, and you can get some of our resources if you help support us, and then we can do more cool stuff. There's some stuff in the pipeline.
Posters.
Really excited. Posters are there for people who back at the $15 tier. So really exciting stuff. So check it all out, and we will see you guys next time.